Hey guys. So, things have changed a little bit. So instead of continuing my top 20 list as I've been doing, I've decided that since I've been taking a lot of movies out and putting movies in and switched on my list and just stressing myself out thinking about it, I've come up with 5 main categories and I've taken the top 16 of my favorite personal movies that I like into those categories, and then I'm doing a bracket type style given that March Madness is coming up, so I figured that was pretty appropriate. So my very first category I got is animation. Each category has 16 movies, so I'm using Rotten Tomatoes critic ratings to rank them 1 through 16. And if the ranking is the same, say one is 100% and another one's also 100%, then I'll use the IMDb rating to use as the tiebreaker. Now, say the IMDb rating is like 8.3 and 8.3, whichever one is higher on the top 250 list, that's the one I'm going to use for the higher ranking. Alrighty, without further ado, let's get started. The number 1 seed, we got Toy Story with 100% ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. And it is going up against the number 16 seed at 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, Shrek. Obviously, I love Shrek, but this is definitely no contest. Toy Story moves on. This one was tough. The number 8 seed against the number 9 seed. The number 8 seed we have at 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, The Incredibles. At 96%, and the number 9 seed we have the lovable and cute WALL-E. This one was tough. Maybe if I was just judging based on from a film perspective, I might pick WALL-E, but overall I'm more enjoyable, and my personal favorite between the two, I'm gonna go with The Incredibles. Alrighty, now we have the number 5 seed Up at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. And it's going up against a movie that's honestly surprising to me that it's even on this list at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, the Lego Movie. As much as I would want to pick the Lego Movie, because growing up I loved playing with them as a kid, but I just can't go against Up. Up is just so good, and it's right there in the feels. Right there in the feels. Both sides, who cares? If I had a heart on both sides, I'd feel it in both of them. Up. We got another tough one, because we got one that hits me way back to when I was a kid versus one that to this day as an adult I love. At number 4, we got at 99%, Finding Nemo. And it's going against a classic at number 13 at 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, Aladdin. Now, I'm not judging it based on this, but I mean, it's getting a sequel coming out for it. Finding Nemo's moving on. What? This one is by far the toughest one of the first round. The number 2 seed with 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, Toy Story 2. And it's going up against another classic. One we all love, one we all know, The Lion King. If you weren't able to guess, Lion King with the upset, moving on. Really surprised that it was even on my list, because given the time before I even watched it, I didn't even want to give it the time of the day. But now we have How to Train Your Dragon at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Boo! And number 10, 96%, Monsters, Inc. Although How to Train Your Dragon really surprised me and really made me feel good watching it. Overall as a film, it was really good, but gotta go with Monsters, Inc. Moving on to the second round. This matchup's pretty interesting because we got the newest film on this list versus the film that I've seen the most recently for the very first time. 98% and the number 6 seed, Inside Out. Number 13 seed and a 96% rating on Rotten Tomato, Ratatouille. Although this decision was fairly easy, without a doubt, didn't even think about it, don't let me take any credit away from Ratatouille. It was really good, but come on now, Inside Out, moving on. Alrighty, we got the final matchup of the very first round, and this one's also a tough one. We got the number 3 seed at a 99% rating on Rotten Tomato, Toy Story 3. Going up against the number 14 seed at 93%, we have Beauty and the Beast. Alright, although Beauty and the Beast is a classic and it gives hope for guys like me who aren't very good looking and can possibly get a girl, gotta go with Toy Story 3 to wrap up the first round, moving on to the second round. Alrighty, starting off the second round with a doozy. We got Toy Story versus The Incredibles. Well, let me just say, you got a friend in me. Moving on to the final 4, Toy Story. The irony in this matchup, we got an old man trying to get rid of a little boy versus a fish father searching to find his son. It's a shame having to put it that way, but sorry, Up. Finding Nemo, moving on to the Final Four. Alrighty, this is probably the scariest matchup of this whole bracket. We got lions versus monsters. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Lion King on this one. Monsters, Inc., guess just a little too scary for me. Of course, can't leave the Elite Eight without a dandy. We got Toy Story 3 against Inside Out. Now this one's tough, like genuinely tough. But I got to go with my heart, and the one that I had the most fun with, Inside Out. It hit all in the right spots, and Toy Story 3 is amazing. I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but I'm sorry. Inside Out, moving on. Alrighty, we've made it this far. The Final Four. We got Toy Story versus Finding Nemo. The Lion King versus Inside Out. Just take a second to breathe and think this one in, because this one's going to be fun. Alrighty, so we got a battle of two greats, two of my favorites. Possibly the first animation film I've ever seen, maybe even the first film I've ever seen in Toy Story versus a film that to this day I love, in Finding Nemo. And going to the finals, I'm going to have to go with Toy Story. A really old film versus a film that just came out last year. This is tough. But I gotta go with a film that I just feel like I'm gonna watch it more often, have more fun, and I'm going with Inside Out. Alright, we've made it. 16 down to 1. Let me emphasize that, my personal picks on animation films of movies that I like better, not what I feel is better, not what I think is better, more well done, or anything like that. All that's out the window. 100% my opinion, it's come down to Toy Story and Inside Out. And my favorite animation film of all time, Toy Story. Because you got a friend in me, and I got a friend in Toy Story. Anytime I watch it, I know it's going to be there. It's going to make me feel good. It's going to make me feel happy. I'm going to enjoy myself. Can't go wrong. Toy Story for the win. Alright, so Toy Story is number 1 on my top 16 animation films of all time. To round out my list, we got Inside Out number 2, Lion King number 3, Finding Nemo number 4, Monsters, Inc. at 5, Toy Story 3 at 6, The Incredibles at 7, Up at 8, How to Train Your Dragon 1 at 9, Toy Story 2 at 10, Aladdin at 11, The Lego Movie at number 12, Ratatouille at 13, WALL-E at 14, Shrek 1 at 15, and last but not least, Beauty and the Beast. Alright, so that's my personal top 16 animation films of all time in the order that I personally like. So maybe there's a movie that you like that should be higher up on my list, that should have been on my list. Comment, let me know what you think, what you would prefer. Anything that you have any ideas of this video, share so other people can see my opinions on animation films, or maybe see a film on here that they didn't watch, or they're like, that's too kiddie, so they didn't check it out. But all these films are for adults as well, so share it, let people know that animation films are for adults and they're very enjoyable. Let me know what you think, like, subscribe to my channel, and be ready for some more. I got, like I said, 5 categories that I'm going to be doing this same thing for, so be ready for more. Thanks, guys.